Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. So it's going to be very dry and quite warm in most areas. We did see a bit of rain lingering into parts of Scotland yesterday, and there are a few showers and some thicker cloud around, but today it's a much drier day, and over the next 5 days it looks likely we'll see very minimal precipitation in most regions. There could be a few pop-up showers here or there, and a few weakening weather fronts could threaten parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland, but not expecting anything remotely close to considerable rainfall for most areas in the next 5 days, and perhaps even longer as we do head towards the end of May and start of June. As we'll see on the GFS, GM, ECMWF and the Ensembles, it's going to be very warm, very dry, continuing for the next 10 to 14 days perhaps. There is uncertainty, of course, in the longer range, but it is looking pretty stunning and very summer-like, and even these operational runs today are going very warm, if not getting a little bit hot as we do head towards the end of the month and start of June, with temperatures on some of these charts hitting the mid to high 20s, and you can even rule out 30 degrees in early June if all things did align. So continuing with this summer outlook, and it's looking really quite nice if you are enjoying something a bit warmer and dry, and hopefully it will be continuing for the whole of the British Isles, not just a few regions like it has been over the past few weeks, whole of the British Isles, and consistently warm and dry too. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. If you do start on the live radar, not really too much going on. You can see where the big high pressure system is at the moment across northwest Europe. A few patches of rain, again this is from the lingering weather front that has now decayed away, and just a few patches of rain and some thicker cloud may hold the temperatures down a little bit, but again, it's fairly warm and fairly dry, said for all regions. And if we do put on the temperatures as of around midday, again those temperatures are starting to rise pretty much everywhere, bar from perhaps the far north of Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and a few patches of Scotland where we've got that thicker cloud and a bit of on and off rain. Most other areas seeing some oranges start to develop, and again high teens, if not getting towards the low 20s. Those temperatures could peak around that Tuesday period before the upper air temperatures do back off a little bit. So yeah, another very warm next few days incoming, and you can see the warmth building across parts of Europe now, and the wind direction looking likely as we head towards the end of the month will be coming in from the south and the east. So warm air building off the continent. This is the air that will be heading our way over the next couple of weeks or so. So yeah, continuing to look very good in the mid to longer range outlook. If you do have a look at the shorter range though, look at the next 5 days, you can see there was a little bit of rain, as said, in northern areas overnight, but it did degrade away as we do head to this afternoon. Again, you can see pretty dry, a few bits of cloud and a few drizzly patches of rain in Scotland, but most areas clear skies, very warm and dry. As we head into tomorrow, into Monday, the start of the new working week will be, once again, a pretty stunning day as we do head towards the afternoon. Again, mostly clear skies. Could be a few heavy, thundery showers through northern England, perhaps. But again, we're not expecting anything too major with those. Again, very isolated in most areas. Very sunny, dry, and very warm. As we do head into Tuesday, as I said, from what I've seen so far, it could be the peak temperatures of the day there, of the week, sorry. And you can see a bit more cloud, but by the afternoon the skies do clear, and once again very warm and very dry. Again, just going to sound like a broken record here, but this continues into Wednesday. Could be a few thicker cloud patches and a bit of drizzly rain in Scotland, but again nothing crazy. And into Thursday, again another very warm and very dry day. Now if we look at the upper air temperatures, they're not going to be anything too ridiculous. They're going to be average to slightly above average over the next 5 days or so. So that's why we're not going to hit anything mid-20s in the short term, but still could get into the low 20s. So we just run it through, you can see generally around that sort of 5 degree point, which is average really for the time of year, but every now and again getting sort of 6, 7, 8 degrees at 850 HPA, especially as we do head towards Tuesday. And that's why you can see that those temperatures will be higher on Tuesday. Perhaps actually transition a bit in towards Wednesday, perhaps. Again, you can see that warm wedge of air moving in. So yesterday it was looking like a Tuesday. It could be Wednesday here, the peak temperatures. We'll have a look in a minute at those raw 2 meter temperatures, though. But yeah, very warm air mass continuing to dominate generally. over the next 5 days. After you put on the max temperatures, again, we do head to this afternoon. You'll be able to see those temperatures peaking once again, high teens, if not touching 20 or 21 degrees. Again, nothing ridiculously warm, but very warm compared to a lot of this spring so far. As we do head into tomorrow, again, temperatures in the afternoon will rise very quickly, and again, 20 to 22 degrees looks quite likely as the tip-top temperatures. Further northwards and westwards, slightly cooler, more around the mid to high teens, but still, with sunshine, will be relatively warm. As we do head now into Tuesday, again, let's see if this is as warm as it was yesterday, showing temperatures peaking around that 23 or 24 degree mark, and by 3 p.m, not quite as warm as it was showing yesterday. Perhaps that's because the warmest temperatures have moved into Wednesday. But once again, 18 to 21 degrees. Another very pleasant day. And as we head into Wednesday, again, temperatures are looking very nice. And you can see actually, those warmest temperatures probably have transitioned into Wednesday now instead. Still warm on Tuesday, just not quite as warm as yesterday. But those warmer temperatures now are on Wednesday, 20 to 22 degrees widely, perhaps as high as 23 or 24 in a few isolated regions. And finally, into Thursday, again, you can see the temperatures even higher, perhaps 23 or 24 into the south and southwest of England, into parts of Wales. Very warm there, and that would be the warmest day of the year if we did see that come off. So very warm, very dry, summer-like conditions prevailing here, and again, can't ask for much more. So we now go over to the GFS and see what that is showing over the course of the next couple of weeks. Again, high pressure is building in at the moment and continuing to dominate. Could see some brief low pressure into sort of day 7. We have seen that over the last few days, but once again, I'm not expecting anything too major with that. No runs really have it fully pushing in, just perhaps influencing the far north of Scotland. But what this low pressure system does on this GFS run is dips more down into the North Atlantic and actually starts to drop a southeasterly wind for the UK. So that warm air we saw on the live radar over Europe, that will be being brought our way into the longer term, and it will be very warm and very pleasant. The only problem you could get is a bit of instability pushing into the west, and that could bring the risk of a few thunderstorms. But that's right in 384 hours, so we won't look at that in too much detail. But if we do look at the raw upper temperatures, again, very warm, 10 degrees at 850 HPA, so even warmer than we have now, so mid-20s looking likely. And if we do have a look for an example day here, go to Friday the 3rd of June, look at that, mid-20s by midday, 25 degrees in London, and expect by 3 p.m. to even be a couple of degrees warmer than that. And it's not just one day, into the 3rd of June, 28 degrees in London. Wow, that might be a little bit anomalous, as most are showing sort of 22 to 25, but once again, very warm conditions, and again, low to mid-20s once again into the 4th of June. So early June from this latest GFS run is incredibly warm. The only problem we could get is instability pushing in. You can see a bit of cape starting to build there in the longer term, especially coming off the Atlantic as well, showing energy within that warm air mass as we do see the instability move in with lower pressure perhaps in the far west. You can see that pushing in here, and it could push in some thunderstorms. That's the only thing we need to watch out for. But over the next couple of weeks, very warm and very dry. And once again, if we look at the accumulated precipitation from this, you'll be able to see that up until around the 31st of May, it's bone dry, but as soon as you push in some of those thunderstorms in the longer term, we do see some rainfall. So, got to keep an eye on this, but the overall figure is for minimal precipitation, only some heavier precipitation in the last sort of 48 hours of this run, with some big thunderstorms. You can see it actually tots up rainfall a couple of inches in a couple of days. So, could be some big rainfall if we did see thunderstorms build into this sort of air mass, but most runs do have it continuing to be very dry and very warm. If you do look at the GEM run now, if we go back up to the European look, again you can see high pressure continuing to dominate, so low pressure could try and make an influence in around 7 days' time, but similar to the GFS, it sits more out in the Atlantic, even further away, and keeps us well under high pressure, so there'll be no precipitation with this at all. And look at that air mass, very warm, getting up towards 8 to 10 degrees above average. And again, we go to the United Kingdom look, and once again, look at the 30th of May, for example, by midday, widely 20 to 25 degrees. Once again, best temperatures could be in Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, Southern Scotland and Wales, into northwest England too, as we are bringing a southwesterly wind and taking an edge off those temperatures further southwards and eastwards over the Channel and North Sea. bringing those temperatures slightly down. So, but again, very, very warm. And again, look at the accumulated precipitation here, minimal. 0 precipitation for most of England and Wales. Extremely dry and very warm with that too. And even Scotland, Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, seeing very minimal rainfall in most regions. Again, that's probably just from a bit of a lingering weather front at some point. If finally we look at the ECMWF, again looking very dry, high pressure continuing dominating and looking really quite stunning. And again, southeasterly winds building into the longer term, building up a warm air mass, 10 degrees at 850 HPA. Once again, 6 to 8 degrees, maybe as high as 10 degrees above average in a few spots. And again, accumulated precipitation, minimal, 2 meter temperatures. Look for the UK look at that 30th of May. Widely low to mid 20s, 25 or 26 degrees. So it's looking absolutely stunning the next 10 days or so. Could be a few caveats in the longer term with maybe some thunderstorms, but it is looking really, really nice. So if you are looking for some warmer, dry weather, some consistent warm and dry weather, we've got a carbon copy coming up here of that sort of pattern. So it's looking really great. So make sure you do go out and enjoy this, because we don't know what is in store for summer. This will only be a period, perhaps a couple of weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks at best, of this warmer, drier conditions overall. So make sure you do enjoy it and take care out there as well in the sun, as we are getting to the sort of peak UV levels for the year as well. So sometimes can get a bit carried away with these sort of warmer weather, people getting very exposed to sunlight. So make sure you wear your sun cream, and if you don't need to be outside, try and avoid the sunlight around 11 till 3 when UV levels do peak. But just to finish, looking at the ensembles, you can see above average and very dry over the next couple of weeks. Again, nothing ridiculously above average. Quite a few runs getting towards that 10-degree range, but not most. Quite a few. And again, if we want to see 30 degrees, we need to see those getting up towards the low teens, if not 15 degrees. So 30 degrees is possible. Maybe an isolated 30, like the GFS was showing. Sort of 28 in London could see peak slightly higher in a few spots. But most runs are going to be having us around that low to mid-20s point. Very warm, and you can see that very dry. Again, a few precipitation spikes, including the operational run there into early June. Again, that could be associated with thunderstorms, but again, it's looking very, very, very good other than that. Again, look at the 2 meter temperatures for the midnight run. Again, widely just hovering around that 20-degree point. Again, the ensemble members don't always do the best temperatures. Take into microclimate conditions, and of course they are showing temperatures at midday and 6 p.m, not at the peak of 3 p.m, so always will be slightly higher here. So London looking consistently low 20s, and it's not just a south of England thing. We go to Glasgow, look at those 2 meter temperatures, widely in the mid to high teens, if not touching 20 degrees in the longer term. Of course, Scotland's always going to be colder, it's always cooler than London, but relatively compared to what it can be this year, it is dry and it is warm. And finally, look at ECMWF, very consistent too, even warmer from the ECMWF. In the longer term, more runs towards that 10-degree point or even higher, showing the likelihood of perhaps even mid to high 20s or even an isolated 30 degree if we head into early June and see that heat build and sort of all things do align. It could be that sort of heat, but we will have to see. I'd say definitely 25 degrees, maybe slightly higher, is very likely in the next week or two. A bit more precipitation, but again, could be associated with those thunderstorms, but at least the next sort of 7 or 8 days, bone dry. So it's looking amazing out there, so make sure you do go out and enjoy it, and of course, as I said, make sure you stay safe in the sunlight. But anyway, thanks for watching, hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you again for another video soon.